Chapter 71 Mission and Departure. You are listening at thousand-fold.Audio. Kill the Xuanhuan traitor Li Qingyuan. Looking at the mission content on the mission Jade slip, Feng frowned slightly, muttered softly, and checked the specific information of the mission. After Feng carefully read the contents of the task Jade slips, he realized why Li Wudi did not limit the time for him to complete the task, nor did he require him to complete the task. Because the task is too difficult. Li Qingyuan is the true disciple of Xuanhuan, possessing the strength of the middle stage of nascent soul realm. Because he practiced evil skills and slaughtered cities to practice kung fu, he was hunted down by Xuanhuan's law enforcement team and fled into the depths of the chaotic mountains. If he was only fighting against Li Qingyuan, a monk in the middle stage of nascent soul, Feng could easily kill him. Of course, if it was that simple, the Xuanhuan law enforcement team would have killed Li Qingyuan long ago. So it would be Feng's turn. The reason why Xuanhuan's law enforcement team did not kill the traitor Li Qingyuan was because Li Qingyuan fled to the chaotic place called Chaos Mountain Range. The Chaos Mountains are located in the northeast corner of Xuanhuan, stretching 50 kilometers from east to west, and 60 kilometers from north to south. There are mountains, canyons, plains, lakes and other terrains in it. It is full of aura and rich in resources. It is an extremely vast holy land for cultivation. However, in the ancient times, countless strong men fought in the Chaos Mountain Range, and the entire world of the Chaos Mountain Range was destroyed. Cracks in space, wormholes in time and space, secret caves left by the fallen strong, countless demons and monsters in time and space, etc., all make the Chaotic Mountain Range extremely dangerous. In addition to these dangers, the biggest feature of the chaotic mountains is the chaotic laws. All monks at the level of law and above will be affected by the law of chaos when they enter the chaotic mountains, and their own strength will be weakened by %. A humanoid monster, therefore, under normal circumstances, monks in the law realm and above would not enter the chaos mountains. Without the suppression of the monks at the level of law and above, the 5 major sects of Xuanhuan, Shenzhen Villa, Ice God Palace, Puppet Gate, and Beast Controlling Sect would not be able to control the Chaos Mountain Range. Especially when the criminals and casual cultivators from the 81st region of Dongzhou poured into the Chaotic Mountain Range one after another, and slaughtered the disciples of the 5 major sects frantically. The 5 major sects had to withdraw from the Chaotic Mountain Range and leave it to the criminals. At this time, the Chaotic Mountain Range is full of dangerous elements such as criminals, casual cultivators, monsters, and demons, and it is a forbidden area for the disciples of the 5 major sections. If Feng wanted to kill Li Qingyuan, he had to venture into the Chaos Mountain Range. Once Feng reveals the identity of the disciples of the 5 major sects, he will become the hunting target of countless criminals, casual cultivators, monster races, and demon races, which is extremely dangerous. The Chaos Mountains are very dangerous and extremely difficult for others, but for me, it's okay. It's not too dangerous, and the difficulty is not too great. After carefully reviewing the task content, Feng smiled slightly and whispered to himself, although the Chaotic Mountain Range is very chaotic and dangerous, Feng is extremely confident in his own strength. In particular, Feng has practiced the heaven-swallowing devil kung fu, and he has condensed the sky-swallowing talisman, so he can pretend to be a magic cultivator and walk freely in the chaotic mountains without worrying about being targeted. At the same time, there are many villains in the Chaotic Mountain Range. Feng used the heaven-swallowing demon art to turn them into the resources for his own evolution without feeling guilty at all. After talking to himself, Feng called Geng Xiaoli and Yang Tian to his side, asked them to explain some things, and gave them a large amount of resources such as Lingshi, Jinyuan Pill, Lingyuan Pill, and First-Order Magic Pill, and asked them to explain something. Manage the affairs of Vulcan Peak and the disciples of the Yang family. After that, Feng soared into the sky, turned into a streak of light, and galloped in the direction of Xuanhuan City. This time, he went to the Chaos Mountains to perform a mission. He didn't know how long it would take. Feng planned to go back to Xuanhuan City first to see his parents and family members, and then went to perform the mission. After all, there is no time limit for the task of Chaos Mountain Range. Feng can control it at will. so there is no need to be so anxious. At the same time, young Feng is going to take this opportunity to take a good tour of Xuantianyu, increase his knowledge, and experience various life. Soon, young Feng flew to Xuanhuan City. At this time, Xuanhuan City expanded several times, and a resplendent and majestic Xuanhuan palace was built in the center of Xuanhuan City. Seeing this scene, a faint smile appeared on the corner of Yang Feng's mouth, and he immediately flew down to the Xuanhuan palace and walked towards Yang De's study. "Xiao Feng, you're back." As soon as Yang Feng walked into the study, Yang De showed a look of surprise, and quickly got up to meet him. "Father, your cultivation speed is very fast. You have already cultivated to the stellar Qi realm. It won't be long before you can be promoted to the Mana realm and have a lifespan of 500 years. Yang Feng felt Yang De's breath, a faint smile flashed in his eyes, and said softly. "Isn't the reason why I cultivate so fast is because you provided me with a lot of cultivation resources? By the way, during your absence, your mother and I gave birth to a younger sister for you. I'll take you to see it," Yang De said with a smile on his face. After speaking, Yang De took Yang Feng to the backyard of the palace. Soon, Yang Feng followed Yang De to the backyard of the palace. At this time, a 1-year-old baby was playing in the backyard under the escort of a maid. As soon as he saw Yang De, that little doll, he giggled and ran towards Yang De, shouting loudly, "Daddy, hug." Seeing the little baby, Yang De immediately squatted down, opened his arms, hugged it into his arms, kissed him on the face and said, "Little baby, this is your brother Yang Feng." As soon as Yang De's voice fell, the little baby opened a pair of curious eyes and looked at Yang Feng for a while, and said in a crisp voice, "Brother." Seeing that the little baby was so smart, Yang Feng's eyes flashed with excitement, and he quickly reached out to hug the little baby in Yang De's arms and said, "Be good, baby, hug me." The little doll who was carried into Yang Feng's arms was not afraid of life at all. She didn't cry or make trouble, and her eyes were wide open, looking at Yang Feng constantly. "Xiao Feng is back." At this time, Yang's mother, Zhang Xia, came out from the backyard and said to Yang Feng with a look of joy, "Mother, I'm back." Yang Feng responded softly, and then teased the little baby in his arms. Afterwards, Yang Feng stayed in the Xuanhuan palace for 3 days, leaving a space ring for his parents and younger sister that contained a large number of spiritual stones, pills, martial arts, magic weapons, spiritual weapons, and even treasures, and then left Xuanhuan. The palace flew towards the direction of Flame City. After coming to Raging Flame City, Yang Feng found that Wei Shue's family was living well and was very rich. Wei Shue's parents even gave birth to a younger brother for Wei Shue, and Wei Shue himself has cultivated to the Gang Qi state. This made Yang Feng very satisfied, and a faint smile appeared on his face. However, Yang Feng didn't bother Wei Shue's family, but quietly found Li Han, gave Li Han some pills and a golden core realm puppet, and asked him to help him take care of the Yang family and Wei family, and then left Raging Flame City and flew into the distance and went. Chapter 72. You are listening at thousand-fold.Audio. What a desolate land. The people here are already empty. Looking at the dry rivers, lakes, cracked land, dilapidated houses, and bones everywhere, Yang Feng, who was sitting cross-legged on the top-grade treasure flying boat, frowned slightly and muttered softly. At this time, Yang Feng had already left Raging Flame City for a week. During this period, Yang Feng traveled during the day and found a place to rest at night, easily flying over a distance of more than miles. However, although Yang Feng flew over a distance of more than li, the land under him was still under the jurisdiction of Xuantianzong, and it was managed by Chu state under Xuantianzong's command. Therefore, seeing the scene stretching thousands of miles below, with 10 rooms and 9 empty spaces, and corpses strewn all over the field, Yang Feng was very upset. When there is an opportunity in the future, I will suggest that the Zongmen directly manage the countries under its command, and send Zongmen disciples to settle in each country under its jurisdiction, so as to prevent this from happening. Yang Feng muttered softly, then withdrew his gaze, and let a Jindan realm puppet continue to drive the top-grade treasure flying boat towards the chaotic mountain range. Soon, Yang Feng leaped hundreds of kilometers, numerous fleers with their families and their mouths, sallow and emaciated, came into Yang Feng's field of vision. There are millions of escapees here. If I don't take action, these escapees will probably die on the way to escape. Yang Feng looked at the deserters stretching for hundreds of miles below, and the countless bones on both sides of the road, especially the bones of young babies. He frowned slightly and muttered softly. Amidst the mutterings, Yang Feng asked the Jindan realm puppet to lower its flight altitude and suspend at a height of meters. Kowtow to meet the immortal master. Kowtow to meet the immortal master. Seeing Yang Feng's figure, the refugees who stretched for hundreds of miles knelt down on the ground and shouted loudly. Hearing the shouts of the millions of deserters below, Yang Feng immediately opened his eyes wide, and performed the vision technique, looking at the millions of deserters below. Soon, Yang Feng found a young man with a trace of golden luck among the millions of deserters. With a thought, a strong wind condensed around the young man, wrapping his body, galloping towards the direction of the top-grade treasure flying boat. "What's your name?" Looking at the civilian youth in front of him, Yang Feng asked in a flat tone. "Master Huixian, my name is Zheng Tao." The commoner youth responded respectfully. "Zheng Tao, what good solution do you have for these millions of deserters?" Yang Feng asked softly. "Master Immortal, there is nothing I can do about these millions of escapees. But if the Immortal Master is willing to take action, he can build a brand new home here for millions of deserters." Zheng Tao responded respectfully. "I am going to build a new city for these millions of deserters to live in, and then I will appoint you as the city lord of this city. Are you confident that you will lead these millions of deserters to live a good life?" Yang Feng said in a flat tone. "As long as the Immortal Master can provide me with food for millions of deserters for a year, and solve the drought problem here, I have the confidence to lead millions of deserters to live a good life without worrying about food and clothing." Zheng Tao said with a respectful face. Hearing Zheng Tao's words, Yang Feng nodded lightly, did not respond, but moved his body, flew to the sky above the millions of deserters, encouraged the mana in his body, and said loudly, "I am going to build a city here for you live, so that you don't have to continue fleeing famine." After finishing speaking, with a thought in Yang Feng's mind, streams of pure mana came out through his body, enveloping him downwards. Immediately, all I saw was the dry land below, shrouded by countless pure mana, and violent turmoil began to occur. A huge deep pit 10 kilometers long and 10 kilometers wide appeared in his field of vision. Immediately afterwards, under Yang Feng's magical power, countless lusts formed a huge city wall 10 feet high and 30 feet wide. At the same time, the four huge city gates in the southeast and northwest were also condensed by Yang Feng with lusts. Afterwards, under Yang Feng's control, countless lusts condensed countless 6-story and 3-story stone buildings. When a huge lust city was formed in the wasteland, Yang Feng had a thought, and the spell of turning mud into stone was cast, instantly turning the huge lust city into a stone city. What a terrifying power! It's astounding that a city that can accommodate millions of people has been built in such a short period of time. Seeing the huge stone city below, Zheng Tao standing on the top-grade treasure flying boat, a shock flashed in his eyes, and he couldn't help exclaiming, and the countless deserters in the wasteland, after seeing the huge stone city that suddenly appeared on the wasteland, a look of excitement and anticipation flashed in their eyes, and they shouted loudly. "The Immortal Master is mighty. Thank you, Immortal Master. Immortal Masters will enjoy immortal blessings forever, and their longevity will be as long as the heavens." Yang Feng ignored the exclamations and shouts of Zheng Tao and countless fleeing people, but encouraged the mana in his body, and shouted loudly, "Rain is coming." Immediately, all I saw was the surging mana in Yang Feng's body, coming out through his body, covering an area with a radius of hundreds of miles. Immediately afterwards, the clouds with a radius of tens of thousands of miles were all affected by the spell cast by Yang Feng, and they rushed towards the area where Yang Feng was located like a tide. Drops of rainwater formed in the void and fell downward. Soon, hundreds of areas around the area were shrouded in downpours. Countless rains fell on the earth, moistening the dry land and filling the dry rivers and lakes. "It's raining! It's raining! It's finally raining, we're saved! It's raining, we don't have to flee." Seeing the torrential rain, the refugees who stretched for more than 100 miles uttered shouts of excitement, and ran directly out of the rain-free area specially set aside by Yang Feng to accept the baptism of the heavy rain. Seeing the excitement and joy on the faces of millions of deserters, a strong sense of accomplishment welled up from the bottom of his heart, and a happy smile appeared on Yang Feng's face. It's such a terrifying mana fluctuation, who is casting spells in our country of Chu. A supernatural monk in the capital of the Chu kingdom felt the huge mana fluctuations in the distance, opened his closed eyes, muttered softly, and flew into the air, flying towards the place where Yang Feng was. Soon, the supernatural monk from Chu state flew thousands of miles to the vicinity of Yang Feng's location, and saw the stone city that could accommodate millions of people, the pouring rain, and the floating sky. Yang Feng in midair. Xuanhuan, a monk from the royal family of the Chu kingdom, has met a fellow Taoist, but what is the name of a fellow Taoist? At this moment, the supernatural power cultivator from Chu state flew not far from Yang Feng, and asked with a look of alertness on his face. Chapter 73. You are listening at thousand-fold.Audio. I am Yang Feng, a true disciple of Xuanhuan, and this is my identity token. Hearing Xuanhuan's words, Yang Feng's expression remained unchanged. He waved his big hand, and threw the identity token over and said. Xuanhuan took Yang Feng's identity token, checked it carefully, and after confirming that it was correct, he moved closer to Yang Feng's side, handed it back to Yang Feng respectfully, and said, I've met senior brother Yang, but I don't know Yang Feng's identity token. What are your orders, brother? I built a stone city for these deserters, and you prepare food and clothing for them for a year. By the way, the land with a radius of miles has been assigned to this stone city for the people of the stone city to cultivate and use. I let Jingtao be the lord of this stone city. I have something to do, so I can't stay here for long. For the follow-up matters, you can just contact Jingtao directly. Is there any problem? Yang Feng took the identity token, put it in the space ring, and said to Xuanhuan with a calm face. No problem. Xuanhuan responded without hesitation. After getting Xuanhuan's affirmative answer, Yang Feng waved his hand, and a strong wind swept Jingtao to his side. Afterwards, Yang Feng introduced Xuanhuan and Jingtao to each other, and made some simple explanations, and then took the top-grade treasure flying boat and continued to fly in the direction of Chaos Mountain Range. Jingtao, you are really lucky to have met the kind-hearted senior brother Yang. Looking at the back of Yang Feng going away, Xuanhuan said to Jingtao with a smile on his face. Yes. We are really lucky. If there is no immortal Master Yang, those of us fleeing from famine will most likely die tragically on the way to flee famine. Jingtao nodded slightly, and said respectfully. Hearing Jingtao's words, Xuanhuan smiled slightly, stretched out his hand and patted Jingtao's shoulder and said, They are very lucky, and you are even more lucky to be valued by senior brother Yang. Manage this stone city well. One day senior brother Yang will come back from work and see that you have managed the stone city well. Maybe he will give you a fairy fate and make you a fairy. After finishing speaking, Xuanhuan waved Jingtao to the ground, and then turned into a stream of light, galloping towards the capital of King Chu. As a monk of the royal family, Xuanhuan must report the matter Yang Feng explained to the royal family of Chu state, and do the matter explained by Yang Feng as soon as possible. Otherwise the royal family of Chu state will have no good fruit to eat, and may even be destroyed. Because of this, after all, Xuanhuan's true disciples are powerful and distinguished. They can save millions of people fleeing famine, and they can also easily destroy the royal family of Chu kingdom. After bidding farewell to Xuanhuan, Yang Feng flew tens of thousands of kilometers to the vicinity of a very prosperous city. This bustling city is called Jiangcheng, a river that is hundreds of feet wide and stretches for tens of thousands of miles, directly reaching the East China Sea, runs through it, and divides it into two urban areas, each with a population of 1,000,000, very prosperous. Since I came to Tianwu continent, I haven't enjoyed the prosperity of the world yet. This Jiangcheng is not bad. I will rest in Jiangcheng for a while, and feel the prosperity of the world. Looking at Jiangcheng in the distance, Yang Feng's heart moved, and he muttered softly, then put away the top-grade treasure flying boat and the golden core battle puppet, and flew to a jungle outside Jiangqing. Afterwards, Yang Feng put on a gorgeous brocade suit, put on a precious jade pendant, and held a long sword with countless patterns and inlaid gems. He took out a large stack of gold tickets from the space ring and put it in his arms. Pretended to be a knight in the rivers and lakes, and swaggered towards the center of Jiangqing. Jiangqing is very prosperous, and the roads leading to the surrounding areas are also extremely flat and wide, allowing 20 carriages to drive side by side. Soon, Yang Feng came out of the jungle, like a fledgling Xuanhuan young man, entered the spacious avenue, and walked slowly towards the east gate of Jiangqing. "Young man, do you need a carriage? It only takes 1 silver coin to bring you to the gate of Jiangqing. Just 1 gold coin can take you anywhere in Jiangqing." At this time, a carriage stopped in front of Yang Feng, and the old coachman on the carriage asked Yang Feng. Hearing what the old coachman said, Yang Feng glanced at the plainly decorated carriage, jumped on top of the carriage, and put his hand into his arms. With the help of his clothes, he took out a gold coin from the interspatial ring, and handed it to the old coachman. "Take me to the most lively and fun place in Jiangqing. Young man, today is the day for Qingxiang Pavilion to choose the Oiran. Many powerful, rich, powerful and knight-errants will go to Qingxiang Pavilion to play and choose the Oiran. Thus, today's Qingxiang Pavilion is the most lively and fun place in Jiangqing. Then take me to Qingxiang Pavilion." Hearing what the old coachman said, Yang Feng's eyes lit up, and he responded softly. Yang Feng was a hard-working migrant worker in his previous life, and he was single. In this life, he also spent all his time on cultivation. Yang Feng had never been to a place like Qingxiang Pavilion. Being idle and bored today, Yang Feng happened to go to experience it. "Please sit down, young man, we're leaving." After getting Yang Feng's affirmative answer, the old coachman responded softly, and drove the carriage, galloping towards Jiangqing. But Yang Feng sat on the carriage, let go of his consciousness, checked the surrounding pedestrians, carriages, and caravans, and obtained various information about Jiangqing. Not long after, the carriage passed through the majestic East City Gate, along the spacious and flat avenue in the city, and drove towards the most prosperous street in the city. Soon, the carriage stopped in front of a 9-story loft with an area of tens of thousands of square meters and extremely luxurious decoration. "Young man, Qingxiang Pavilion is here." At this time, the old coachman lifted the curtain and said to Yang Feng. Hearing the old coachman's words, Yang Feng got down from the carriage, looked at the luxurious attic in front of him, a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and walked slowly towards the gate of the attic with the long jeweled sword in his hand. "What's the name of this young man?" When Yang Feng came to the gate of Qingxiang Pavilion, a buddy of Qingxiang Pavilion quickly walked up to him and asked respectfully. "Just call me young Master Yang." Yang Feng said in a flat tone. "Young Master Yang, our Qingxiang Pavilion has 3 types of seats: lobby seat, box seat, and VIP seat. Among them, the lobby seat costs 1 gold coin, the box seat costs 10 gold coins, and the VIP seat costs 1,000 gold coins. What kind of seat do you need?" Hearing Yang Feng's words, the guy immediately introduced him softly. "Arrange a VIP seat for me," Yang Feng said without hesitation. As soon as Yang Feng's voice fell, the waiter showed an excited smile on his face, and immediately shouted to the inside of Qingxiang Pavilion, "1 VIP seat." At this time, a well-dressed bustard walked quickly towards Yang Feng with a charming smile. Chapter 74. You are listening at thousand-fold.Audio. "Young Master Yang, I'll take you to the VIP room." The old bustard came to Yang Feng and said with a charming smile. After finishing speaking, Lao Bai took Yang Feng to the stairs. Soon, Lao Bai took Yang Feng to a VIP room on the 8th floor. The area of the VIP room is about square meters, and more than 10 crystal lights are arranged to illuminate the VIP room brightly. In the VIP room, there are 2 rows of soft sofas, a crystal coffee table, and a huge crystal wall. Through the crystal wall, one can see a stage in the center of Qingxiang Pavilion covering an area of over 1,000 square meters. Obviously, that stage is where the Oiran election will be held. "Young Master Yang, we have 4 girls coming out of the Qingxiang Pavilion today. Whoever you fancy can send you flowers. A pot of flowers costs, gold coins. Whichever girl you send the most flowers to, that girl will stay with you all night. After entering the VIP room, Lao Bai said with a smile on his face. If I send flowers to 4 girls at the same time, and they all send more flowers than others, will these 4 girls accompany me tonight? Yang Feng looked at Lao Bai with a smile on his face and said. Only young Master Yang has this kind of financial resources. The 4 girls can spend the night together with young Master Yang. Old Bai was taken aback for a moment, then said with a smile on his face. After speaking, Lao Bai left the VIP room. Afterwards, several maids in court attire slowly entered the VIP room, carrying crystal plates containing fruits, wine and snacks, and placed these crystal plates on the coffee table. Immediately afterwards, 4 tall and sexy beauties with pretty faces, wearing gauze dresses and exuding a seductive aura, slowly entered the VIP room. Young Master Yang, during the selection of the Oiran, 4 of us sisters will serve you. If you want to send flowers, just tell us, a beautiful woman in a gauze dress said to Yang Feng with a charming smile on her face. I see. Yang Feng glanced at the 4 beauties and said in a flat tone, after receiving Yang Feng's affirmative answer, the beauty in gauze who was the leader sat beside Yang Feng, first poured Yang Feng a glass of fine wine, then peeled a grape for Yang Feng, and brought it to Yang Feng's mouth, and the other 3 beauties in gauze walked up behind Yang Feng, put their soft hands on Yang Feng's shoulders, and pressed them gently. The other 2 beauties in gauze knelt on both sides of Yang Feng, clenched their soft hands into fists, and gently tapped on Yang Feng's legs. Seeing this scene, Yang Feng smiled slightly, opened his mouth, ate the grapes, and enjoyed the services of the 4 beauties. Not long after, a well-dressed bustard walked quickly to the stage in the center of Qingxiang Pavilion, and said loudly, "Everyone, today is the day for us to choose the Oiran of Qingxiang Pavilion, and everyone should know the rules." Not much to say. Now, 4 girls are invited to come out. As soon as the old bustard finished speaking, 4 beautiful girls in floral dresses with peerless appearance walked slowly onto the stage and sat down on the 4 chairs on the stage. Immediately afterwards, 4 beautiful maids in gauze clothes, holding signs with the names of Xuanhuan, Xuanhuan, Joju, and Dongmei, walked quickly behind the 4 peerless beautiful girls, and stood there quietly, like a sculpture. These are the 4 girls from Qingxiang Pavilion today, Xuanhuan, Xuanhuan, Joju, Dongmei. The 4 of them are the Oiran seeds cultivated by our Qingxiang Pavilion from an early age. They are proficient in playing piano, chess, calligraphy, painting, playing and singing. They are dignified and peerless. They are all top-notch beauties. Each of them is qualified to become the Oiran of our Qingxiang Pavilion. It's just that there is only 1 Oiran in Qingxiang Pavilion every year, so only 1 of the 4 of them can become the Oiran. As for which of the 4 of them can become the Oiran, I will leave it to the judges to decide. Now, I announce that Qingxiang Pavilion's Oiran selection activity will officially begin. At this time, the old bustard took a step forward and said loudly with a smile on his face. After speaking, the bustard retreated to the side of the stage. I'll give Xuanhuan a pot of flowers. I'll send 10 pots of Xuanhuan flowers. I'll send Xia Zhu 10 pots of flowers. I'll give Joju 5 pots of flowers. I'll send 8 potted flowers of Dongmei. As soon as the old bustard's voice fell, the guests in the boxes of Qingxiang Pavilion all started shouting loudly. The guests in the hall looked excitedly at the excitement. As for the guests in the VIP room, they are waiting and watching. The 4 are not lazy, and their qualifications are not bad. At least they can cultivate to the mana level and have a lifespan of 500 years. Sitting on the soft sofa, Yang Feng looked at the 4 girls on the stage through the crystal wall. His eyes lit up, and he muttered in his heart. After muttering, Yang Feng said to the beautiful woman beside him, Xuanhuan, Joju, Dongmei, 100 potted flowers for each person, 1,000 potted flowers for Xiazhu. Young Master Yang, you are so generous. Hearing Yang Feng's words, the eyes of the beautiful woman beside him lit up, and she couldn't help exclaiming. After an exclamation, the beauty walked quickly to the crystal wall and shouted loudly, VIP room no, Xuanhuan, Joju, Dongmei, 100 pots of flowers per person, 1,000 pots of flowers in Xiazhu. As soon as the beautiful woman finished speaking, all the guests in the boxes of Qingxiang Pavilion turned their attention to the VIP room where Yang Feng was, and the guests in the hall showed even more shocked expressions, and they couldn't help but look towards the VIP room where Yang Feng was. A pot of flowers is worth 130 gold coins, and once Yang Feng makes a move, it will be, pots of flowers, worth, million gold coins. 1 gold coin can be exchanged for 10 silver coins, 1,000 copper coins, enough for an ordinary family of 3 to live for 1 month. 130 million gold coins is an extremely large number, and it is also a number that makes countless people despair. More importantly, Yang Feng directly sent flowers to the 4 girls at the same time. Obviously, Yang Feng wanted to have the 4 girls in his pocket at the same time, and he had a great appetite. This made many guests in boxes and VIP rooms very upset. While sending people to inquire about Yang Feng's information, they opened their mouths to send flowers to Xuanhuan, Zhoju, and Dongmei. Seeing this scene, Yang Feng's expression remained unchanged, and he said to the beautiful woman beside him, Xuanhuan, Xiazhu, Zhoju, Dongmei, each with 1,000 potted flowers. Hearing Yang Feng, a look of horror flashed in the eyes of the beautiful woman beside him. She immediately got up, walked to the crystal wall, and shouted loudly, Xuanhuan, Xiazhu, Zhoju, Dongmei, each with 1,000 potted flowers. As soon as the beautiful woman finished speaking, the guests in the hall of Qingxiang Pavilion were completely stunned, and the guests in the box and VIP room were also stunned. They all stopped sending flowers and tried their best to find out about Yang Feng. At this time, the owner behind Qingxiang Pavilion was also alarmed, and immediately walked towards the VIP room where Yang Feng was. Obviously, the owner of Qingxiang Pavilion wanted to find out Yang Feng's bottom line and see if Yang Feng could come up with so many gold coins. That's a full 530 million gold coins. Converted into spirit stones, there are as many as, pieces. This is also a fortune for the master behind Qingxiang Pavilion. Chapter 75 Concubine. You are listening at thousand-fold.Audio. Young Master Yang, this is young Master Qi, the owner of Qingxiang Pavilion. The old bastard brought a young man in brocade clothes into Yang Feng's VIP room slowly, and introduced him to Yang Feng with a respectful expression. Qi Xiao, there are 530 spirit stones in this space ring, which should be able to offset, million gold coins. Yang Feng glanced at the young man in brocade clothes, and said in a flat tone. After finishing speaking, Yang Feng waved his hand, and a space ring flew out of his body, floating in front of the young man in brocade clothes. You all go out. Looking at the interspatial ring floating in front of his eyes, the young man in brocade clothes changed his face slightly, and immediately ordered loudly. Immediately afterwards, the madam and the 4 beauties exited the VIP room immediately. At this time, the young man in brocade clothes took over the space ring, and said in a respectful tone, Qi Wei of Qinjiamen, I have met Senior Qinjiamen Qihai, who are you? Yang Feng asked in a flat tone. Qi Dahai is my father. Qi Wei responded respectfully. So you are the young master of Qingyu sect. No wonder you have cultivated to the mana realm at such a young age. Hearing Qi Wei's words, Yang Feng said softly. I don't know what the senior is called. As soon as Yang Feng's voice fell, Qi Wei's face changed slightly, and he asked softly. I am Yang Feng, a true disciple of Xiantian sect. Yang Feng responded softly, took out his identity token, and waved it in front of Qi Wei. Qingyu sect Qi Wei, I met Senior Brother Yang. Senior Brother Yang can come to our Qingxiang Pavilion as a guest. It is our Qingxiang Pavilion's honor. These 4 girls are a gift from Qingxiang Pavilion to Senior Brother Yang. Senior Brother Yang, please take back this interspatial ring. Seeing the identity token in Yang Feng's hand, Qi Wei's expression changed drastically, and he immediately gave Yang Feng a big gift respectfully, and then handed back the space ring to Yang Feng. The Qingyu sect is just a small sect, and the strongest is just a cultivator in the heavenly human realm, who is not even qualified to become a subsidiary sect of the Xiantian sect, and is a subsidiary sect of the Xiantian sect subsidiary sect. If he can get involved with Yang Feng, it will be a great opportunity for Qi Wei and Qingyu sect. In the face of this great opportunity, what is a mere spirit stones. Not to mention, these spirit stones were bought by the 4 girls from Qingxiang Pavilion. A few spirit stones, to me, it's nothing, just accept it. By the way, find me a quiet room, I don't like people disturbing my rest. Hearing Qi Wei's words and seeing his respectful appearance, Yang Feng said in a flat tone. Yes, senior brother Yang. Qi Wei responded respectfully, put away the space ring, and brought Yang Feng to the 9th floor of Qingxiang Pavilion, a room with hundreds of square meters, extremely luxurious decoration and complete facilities. After that, Qi Wei exited the room respectfully, and stopped all those who inquired about Yang Feng's news, so that they could not disturb Yang Feng. Immediately afterwards, 4 peerless beauties, Xuanhuan, Xia Zhu, Qiu Ju, and Dong Mei, came to Yang Feng's room, and said in a clear and melodious voice, "Your servant has met Yang Xuanhuan." After finishing speaking, the 4 peerless beauties walked slowly to Yang Feng's side, took off their clothes, and waited for Yang Feng to rest, and Yang Feng also took the opportunity to relax and enjoy the good life in the world. In the early morning of the 2nd day, Yang Feng left Qingxiang Pavilion with 4 peerless beauties, and went to play in Jiangqing. Accompanied by the 4 peerless beauties, Yang Feng had a great time playing, and he seemed a bit reluctant to leave. However, Yang Feng is not an ordinary person after all. He knows that Tianwu continent is a world where the strong are respected and the weak prey on the strong. It's okay to enjoy it for a while on Tianwu continent, but if you keep indulging in it and affect your cultivation, it will be very dangerous. Therefore, after Yang Feng visited Jiangqing for 7 days, he was about to leave Jiangqing and continue to the Chaos Mountain Range. After warming up on the big bed for a while, Yang Feng and the 4 beauties said softly, "I'll give you 2 choices. One is that I will give each of you 100 million gold coins, a mansion compound, and a black iron puppet, so that you can live a luxurious life and enjoy the prosperity for a lifetime. One is that you will be my concubines, and I will send you to live in my home. I want to remind you one thing, if you become my concubines, you must abide by the rules of concubines, otherwise you will not only die, but your family and relatives will also die together." Hearing Yang Feng's words, the 4 beauties immediately chose to be Yang Feng's concubines without the slightest hesitation. These 4 beauties are all smart people. Knowing that the 4 of them met Yang Feng, they were considered lucky. If they choose the first option, although they can enjoy the prosperity for the rest of their lives, they only have a lifespan of a mere few decades, and eventually their faces fade away and they die of old age in Jiangqing. And if they choose the second option, although their status is a little lower, there is a high probability that they can obtain the exercises bestowed by Yang Feng, cultivate into monks, and have a long lifespan. Therefore, the 4 peerless beauties all chose to be concubines for Yang Feng. Congratulations on making a smart decision. These 4 space rings contain some martial arts, and magical powers, as well as some pills and spirit stones, which are enough for you to cultivate to the realm of heaven and man. Seeing that the 4 girls had made a choice, Yang Feng smiled slightly, and took out the 4 interspatial rings that had been prepared from the Dong Tianzhu, and put them on the 4 girls. Afterwards, Yang Feng was pushed down on the big bed by the enthusiastic 4 girls, and after warming up again, he got up and put on his clothes, and took out a bronze puppet of Jindan realm from the Dongtian Pearl, and let the bronze puppet of Jindan realm drive the low-grade treasure flying boat transported the 4 daughters to the Nanwang mansion in Xiaoguang town, guarded by the bronze puppet of Jindan realm, especially the imprint of Xuantianzong's true disciple left by Yang Feng on the low-grade treasure. Within the sphere of influence of Xuantianzong, the 4 daughters can definitely reach the Nanwang mansion in Xiaoguang town safely. Looking at the backs of the 4 girls going away, Yang Feng let out a chuckle, soared into the air, released a top-grade treasure flying boat, and then sat cross-legged on the top-grade treasure flying boat to practice, and let a golden core bronze puppet drive the top-grade treasure. The flying boat continued to gallop in the direction of the chaotic mountains. What an evil mana fluctuation! There are evil cultivators doing evil nearby. 3 days later, Yang Feng, who was cultivating on the top-grade treasure flying boat, suddenly opened his closed eyes, and exclaimed softly and voluntarily. After an exclamation, Yang Feng let go of his consciousness and scanned the place where the wave of evil mana was emitting. Soon, a small city hundreds of miles away entered Yang Feng's sense of consciousness. At this time, more than 100,000 people in the small city collapsed to the ground under the control of waves of evil mana. Streams of bright red blood and pure soul power gushed out from the bodies of more than 100,000 people, and flew towards a red-robed old man in the sky, falling into a blood-colored gourd in the hands of the red-robed old man. Middle. Chapter 76 Killing the Evil Cultivator. You are listening at thousand-fold.Audio. Fuck. This evil cultivator actually slaughtered the city. After sensing the situation in that small town, Yang Feng's face changed slightly, a cold light flashed in his eyes, he cursed softly, stood up, drove the top-grade treasure flying boat, turned into a stream of light, and headed towards the city hundreds of miles away. Speeding away in the direction of the small town, soon, Yang Feng flew hundreds of miles to the vicinity of the small town. At this time, the more than people in the small city have all turned into shriveled corpses, and their blood and souls have been sucked away. Cut. Seeing this scene, Yang Feng's eyes flickered fiercely, and with a roar, a flying sword, a top-grade treasure, flew out of his body, streaked across the void like lightning, and with a sharp edge, slashed at Xiexio above the small town. Fall away, boom. With a crisp sound, the top-grade treasure flying sword crossed a distance of tens of miles, and under the horrified eyes of that evil cultivator, it cut its body into two pieces, blood spattered, and fell downward. At this time, like lightning, Yang Feng approached the upper half of the evil cultivator's body, his right hand formed a claw, and grabbed the evil cultivator's head, performing the secret soul search technique. Soon, Yang Feng got the information he wanted from the evil cultivator's head, and with a little force with his right hand, he crushed the evil cultivator's head. Ordinary people in the fantasy world are too miserable. If one is not careful, the whole family will die. Fortunately, I was lucky. I was reincarnated in the Yang family in Xuanhuan City. I have the protection of my family. I am still close to Xuantianzong. The evil outsiders dare not approach me. Otherwise, I may be killed by the evil outsiders to practice kung fu before I have awakened the system. Seeing more than shriveled corpses in the small town, a chill surged from the bottom of Yang Feng's heart, making Yang Feng mutter involuntarily. At the same time, the more than withered corpses in the small town also reminded Yang Feng that this world is a fantasy world without legal restrictions. In such a fantasy world where the weak prey on the strong, if you want to survive, you must improve your cultivation and possess super combat power, otherwise, I might one day be easily obliterated by a powerful evil cultivator just like the people in the small town. After a moment of emotion, Yang Feng waved his hand, and a huge pit appeared on the side of the small town. Immediately afterwards, streams of magic power gushed out from his body, and the corpses of more than 100,000 people in the small town were rolled up one after another and sent into the huge pit. Afterwards, countless soils surged and buried the corpses of more than people, forming a huge earthen grave. After doing all this, Yang Feng put the space ring and the blood-colored gourd on Xiexio's body into the Dongtian orb, and drove the top-grade treasure flying boat to a small mountain thousands of miles away. According to Xiexio's memory, this Xiexio was a member of an evil organization. There are more than 10 people in this evil organization, most of them are cultivators at the mana realm. A few are cultivators at the yin-yang realm and heavenly human realm, and the leader is a cultivator at the supernatural realm. This group of evil organizations hides in a hill at the junction of Xuantianzong and Yeshuzong, from time to time enters the jurisdiction of Xuantianzong and Yeshuzong, massacres some people in small towns and towns, and collects the blood and souls of people in small towns and villages. Practice. Because the members of this group of evil organizations are very cautious, the number of dispatches is relatively small, and the selected targets are also remote villages and small towns. Although they alarmed the monks in the nearby countries, they disturbed the two giants of Xuantianzong and Yeshuzong. In addition, the hiding place of this group of evil organizations is located at the junction of Xuantianzong and Yeshuzong. It is very remote and desolate. The monks from nearby countries have been unable to find their traces, and they have been circling here for decades. As long as, in the past few decades, it is unknown how many innocent people have died tragically at the hands of this evil organization. Not long after, young Feng flew over the hill where the evil organization was located, immediately let go of his consciousness, and scanned into the hill. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! Enemy attack! As soon as young Feng arrived, he was discovered by the members of the evil organization on the hill, not to mention he let go of his consciousness and scanned into the hill. Therefore, the members of the evil organization on the hill immediately issued a shrill alarm, and quickly flew out of the hill, urging the magical weapons and spiritual weapons on their bodies, and bombarded Yang Feng's body. Immediately, I saw a strong smell of blood and evil spirits emanating from these magical artifacts of evil cultivators, which made Yang Feng sick for a while, and his eyes glowed fiercely. Go with. Following Yang Feng's soft shout, a top-grade treasure long sword shot out from Yang Feng's body, flashed across the void like lightning, and met those magic weapons and spiritual weapons of evil cultivators. Boom! 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 Amidst clear and crisp sounds, each of the magical weapons and spirit weapons of the evil cultivators was destroyed by the top-grade treasure long sword, turned into countless fragments, splashed around, and sank into the rocks of the hill. Immediately afterwards, under Yang Feng's urging, the long sword, the top-quality treasure, easily pierced through the heads of each evil cultivator with a bright aura, causing blood to splash and turn into a blood mist, and died tragically on the spot. In a short time, all the evil cultivators were killed except for the evil cultivators in the supernatural power realm. At this time, the face of the cultivator in the supernatural power realm changed drastically, and he immediately mobilized the mana in his body to flee into the distance, not daring to continue fighting Yang Feng at all. However, before his figure could fly far, his body was pierced by the top-grade treasure long sword, blood spattered, and he fell downwards. At this time, with a flicker, Yang Feng approached the evil cultivator in the supernatural power state. His right hand formed a claw, and grabbed the head of the evil cultivator in the supernatural power state, and used the soul-searching secret technique to search his memory. Soon, Yang Feng got the information he wanted, and with a strong right hand, he crushed the head of the supernatural cultivator, turning it into a blood mist, and died tragically on the spot. Afterwards, with a thought, Yang Feng cast the heaven-swallowing devil art, devouring and refining the blood and souls of more than a dozen evil cultivators, turning them into strands of killing mana, and storing them in the killing consciousness sea. In the blink of an eye, the corpses of more than a dozen evil cultivators turned into a piece of fly ash and disappeared with the wind. Immediately afterwards, with a big wave of his hand, Yang Feng put all the spatial equipment of more than a dozen evil cultivators into the Dongtian orb, and then burned the evil cultivators' cave to ashes with a fire, before continuing to gallop in the direction of the chaotic mountain range. However, because the Beastmaster sect's territory was not far ahead, Yang Feng kept a low profile. I saw that Yang Feng replaced the top-grade treasure flying boat with a low-grade treasure flying boat, and replaced the bronze golden core puppet with a black iron supernatural power puppet, and then continued to let the puppet stand on the flying boat while he sat cross-legged on the flying boat to practice. Waste no time. After flying thousands of miles in the area under the jurisdiction of the Beast sect, Yang Feng found a small Xuanhuan city. Curiosity flashed in his eyes, and he immediately put away the flying boat and puppets, and flew towards the small Xuanhuan city. Chapter 77 Ancient Jade, Red Ant Nest, Golden Egg. You are listening at thousand-fold.Audio. Defense formation. That when Yang Feng flew near Fengshe, a protective cover blocked his way, causing a look of surprise to flash in his eyes. He muttered softly, and flew down from the sky, walking towards the gate of Fengshe not far away. Went. Enter King Yuefang, please pay a spirit stone. That when Yang Feng walked to the gate of Fengshe, a Fengshe guard stepped forward and blocked Yang Feng's way. Hearing the words of the Fengshe guard, Yang Feng waved his hand, and a spirit stone flew out of his body and landed in the hands of the Fengshe guard. At this time, the Fengshe guards immediately stepped aside and let Yang Feng enter. Although the scale of this square market is not large, it is quite lively. Looking at the dense crowd in Fengshe, the hundreds of buildings scattered on both sides of the streets of Fengshe, and the hundreds of street stalls in the corner of Fengshe, a look of surprise flashed in Yang Feng's eyes. Walked among the buildings on both sides. Soon, Yang Feng entered an elixir shop, and found that most of the elixirs in it were Xuanhuan pill and Lingyuan pill, as well as a small amount of first and second-order magic pills and other corresponding grades of medicine pills, third-tier magic pills and the same level of pills. None of the first-level pills. This made Yang Feng a little disappointed, and the desire to buy the pill disappeared instantly. "Do you have any recipes for Bloodline pill?" Yang Feng asked the clerk at the elixir shop. "Yes, 1,000 spirit stones," the elixir shop guy responded without hesitation. "Give me one." Yang Feng took out 1,000 spirit stones from the interspatial ring, and handed it to the elixir shop assistant. "Guest officer, this is the formula of the blood pill, you can check it." The elixir shop clerk took the lincture, counted it, and took out a prescription for the Bloodline pill from the drawer under the counter, and handed it to Yang Feng. Yang Feng took the formula of the Bloodline pill, checked it carefully, and felt that there should be no problem, then put it into the space ring and left. After that, Yang Feng continued to stroll around the shops on both sides of the street. However, the shops on both sides of the street were very low level, and there were no cultivation resources suitable for Jindan monks, which made Yang Feng a little disappointed, so he walked to the street stall area in the corner of Fengshe. There are hundreds of stalls in the street stall area. Most of the owners of the stalls are fighters in the Gangqi realm, and a few are monks in the Mana realm and Yinyang realm. Low-level talismans and other items. However, one of the antiques sold on a street stall caught Yang Feng's attention and made him observe carefully. According to Yang Feng's observation, the ancient objects on the stall should come from an ancient cave or tomb. However, these ancient objects either lost their spirituality and became ordinary items due to a long time, or became dilapidated and useless due to other reasons. "Staller, where did you get these things?" After carefully observing the items on the stall and finding nothing good, Yang Feng asked the stall owner. "Senior, this is an ancient artifact I obtained in an ancient cave. If you don't like it, I'll sell it to you at a lower price." The stall owner was a cultivator at the Mana realm, and when he realized that he couldn't see through Yang Feng's cultivation, he immediately responded with a respectful face. "The value of these ancient relics is not high, and they are useless to me. Do you have any treasures obtained from the ancient cave? If there is any, you can take it out and show it to me. If you have a treasure that satisfies me, I promise I won't treat you badly." Spiritual artifacts, treasure artifacts, magic pills, martial arts, advanced talismans, battle puppets and other training resources, you can choose. Hearing what the stall owner said, Yang Feng said in a flat tone. "Senior, there are too many people here, let's go to the inn to chat." Hearing Yang Feng's words, the stall owner's eyes lit up, he glanced at the lively crowd around him, said something in a low voice, put away the stall, and led Yang Feng to an inn on the side of the street. Soon, under the leadership of the stall owner, Yang Feng opened an upper room in the inn, and installed a soundproof barrier to prevent other people from peeping. At this time, the stall owner said to Yang Feng with a smile on his face, "Senior, my name is Lin Daong, and I do have 3 treasures in my hand. I want to exchange for 100 million spirit stones, a high-grade spiritual weapon long sword, and a high-grade magic weapon. Defensive spiritual weapon, a battle puppet in the realm of supernatural powers." Hearing Lin Daong's words, Yang Feng waved his hand, and 100 top-grade spirit stones, 1 top-grade spirit weapon long sword, 1 top-grade defensive spirit weapon, and 1 supernatural power black iron puppet flew out of the Dongtian pearl and hovered in the inn. In the middle of the room. "See, I have everything you want. As long as your treasure is good enough, don't talk about these things, even if it is a better thing, I have it. Of course, if your treasures don't satisfy me, you won't get anything." Yang Feng pointed to the objects floating in the room, and said in a flat tone. "Senior, this is the treasure I obtained in the ancient cave, take a look, is it satisfactory to you?" Seeing the items in the room, Lin Daong's eyes lit up, and immediately took out an ancient jade, a red ant nest, and a golden egg from the space ring, and handed them to Yang Feng. Yang Feng took the ancient jade, the red ant nest, and the golden egg, and let go of his consciousness to examine them carefully. A golden light flashed in his eyes, and a satisfied smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. A hidden formation was depicted on the ancient jade, and after Yang Feng passed through the hidden formation with his consciousness, he found a skill book on it. This skill book is called the Encyclopedia of Beasts, which records the methods of breeding and contracting, kinds of monsters. More importantly, the Encyclopedia of Beasts records the method of accelerating the growth of monsters, which can allow monsters to pass through infancy in the shortest possible time and enter adulthood, maturity, and have the strongest combat power. If the Emperor Beast sect knew about this Encyclopedia of Emperor Beasts, they would definitely buy it at any cost. Because of this Encyclopedia of Beast controlling, the comprehensive strength and combat effectiveness of the beast controlling sect will be increased several times, even, as long as the Emperor Beast sect is given several hundred years of development time. The Emperor Beast sect can annex the Xuanhuan sect, the Divine Sword Villa, the Ice God Palace, the Puppet Gate, and dominate the Xuanhuan territory. From this we can see how precious the Encyclopedia of Royal Beasts is. Of course, this is only for the Beastmaster sect. For other monks, although the Compendium of Royal Beasts is precious, it is not so precious at all. After all, other monks don't have as much strength as the Beastmaster sect, and there are a wide variety of beasts and monsters. After checking the condition of the ancient jade, Yang Feng put it aside and began to check the red ant nest. Soon, Yang Feng found hundreds of fire ants in the red ant nest, one of which had the cultivation strength of the stellar Qi realm, and the other fire ants only had the cultivation strength of the true Yuan realm and the true Qi realm. At this time, Yang Feng's heart moved. He picked up the ancient jade again, put his consciousness into it, and checked the fire ants' information. When Yang Feng found information about fire ants in the Encyclopedia of Royal Beasts, he was surprised to find that fire ants are extremely powerful social monsters. They not only have strong fecundity and survivability, but also have extremely terrifying attack power. After browsing through the information about fire ants in the Encyclopedia of Royal Beasts in detail, Yang Feng set his sights on the last golden egg and examined it carefully. In the end, Yang Feng discovered that the golden egg in front of him was a legendary dragon egg, and it was also the extremely precious 9-clawed 9-dragon egg. However, this golden egg has only a sliver of vitality. It is extremely difficult to cultivate the 9-clawed golden dragon inside. It needs the top-level water of life that contains a huge vitality. Chapter 78 Refining Bloodline Pill. You are listening at thousand-fold.Audio. Your 3 treasures are very good, I want them. As soon as Yang Feng thought about it, he put the ancient jade, the red ant nest and the golden egg into the hold Z beads, and said to Lin Daong with a smile on his face. Senior is satisfied. I don't know, can I put these items away? Seeing Yang Feng's actions, Lin Daong responded respectfully, and looked excitedly at the spirit stones, puppets and other objects floating in the room. Of course. However, I am a person who pays great attention to integrity in business. The value of these items is not as high as your treasure. I'll give you another 50 bottles of alchemy, 20 bottles of alchemy, and a bronze puppet in the golden alchemy realm. At the same time, you can add my contact information. If you have any treasures to sell in the future, you can contact me. I promise to give you a high price and I will not treat you badly. Hearing Lin Daong's words and seeing his excited appearance, Yang Feng smiled slightly. After finishing speaking, Yang Feng waved his hand. 50 bottles of first-level magic pills, 20 bottles of second-level magic pills, and a bronze puppet of Jindan state flew out of the Dongtian pearl and floated in the room. Thank you, Senior. In the future, when I have a new treasure, I must contact Senior. Hearing Yang Feng's words and seeing his actions, a look of surprise flashed in Lin Daong's eyes. He quickly thanked him, and put the items in the room into the space ring. After that, Yang Feng and Lin Daong added their contact information, found the innkeeper, rented a new upper room, set up a security formation, took out the ancient jade, and studied the Encyclopedia of Royal Beasts in it. I really made a lot of money today. For a long time in the future, I won't have to worry about the lack of cultivation resources. Now I can go back to the cave and practice in seclusion for a period of time to improve my cultivation and strength. After Lin Daong came out of the inn, a look of excitement flashed in his eyes, and he secretly sighed in his heart. then quickly left Feng and flew away into the distance. However, Lin Daong had just left Feng hundreds of kilometers away and came to a lush mountain range when he was surrounded by 3 monks. Lin Daong, can you tell me, what kind of deal did you make with any senior? That at this time, the leading monk of the Yin-Yang realm took a step forward and said in a flat tone. Boss Wei, that senior spent, spirit stones to buy some ancient relics from me. There are 3,000 spirit stones here. It's a little bit of care from me. I hope Boss Wei can accept them. Hearing the words of the Yin-Yang cultivator, Lin Daong's face changed slightly, and he said respectfully, while speaking, Lin Daong took out, spirit stones from the space ring, and threw them at the Yin-Yang cultivator. Seeing Lin Daong's movements, the Yin-Yang cultivator waved his hand, put 3,000 spirit stones into the space ring, and said in a cold tone, Lin Daong, hand over your space ring, I can spare you your life, or don't blame me for being cruel and merciless, and kill you. Hearing the icy words of that Yin and Yang mirror monk, and feeling the strong murderous intent emanating from him, Lin Daong's eyes flashed fiercely, and with a thought, the bronze puppet of Jindan realm flew out of his space ring. Immediately afterwards, the figure of the bronze puppet in the Jindan state flickered, and the bronze long sword in his hand easily pierced through the head of the monk in the Yin-Yang state, causing blood to splatter, and he died tragically on the spot. Afterwards, the golden core bronze puppet quickly approached the other 2 mana-level monks, and the bronze sword in his hand easily pierced through the heads of the other 2 mana-level monks, causing them to die tragically on the spot. At this time, Lin Daong took off the space rings of the 3 monks, and with a big wave of his hand, hot fireballs appeared in front of him, igniting the bodies of the 3 monks, turning them into ashes. After finishing all these, Lin Daong put away the golden core bronze puppet, turned into a streamer, and flew away into the distance. There are too many contents in the Encyclopedia of Royal Beasts. It is very unrealistic to want to control all of them in a short period of time. I have now mastered the cultivation and breeding of fire ants, as well as the method of rapid evolution, which is enough for the time being, and there is no need to continue researching. Now, the recipe for the bloodline pill has been obtained. It's time to learn alchemy and refine the blood spirit grass and the Dongtian pearl into the bloodline pill. Yang Feng put down the ancient jade in his hand, muttered softly, put it in the interspatial ring, took out a jade slip of alchemy, and studied it carefully. Ding! You have practiced the basic alchemy technique once, and the effect of the practice will be returned 10,000 times, and your basic alchemy technique has been cultivated to the state of great success. After Yang Feng read the alchemy technique carefully, a crisp reminder sounded in his ears. Numerous contents about basic alchemy emerged in Yang Feng's mind, allowing him to instantly grasp all the contents of basic alchemy, master them well, and become a master of basic alchemy. At this time, Yang Feng put away the basic alchemy, took out another jade slip of alchemy, and read it carefully. Soon, Yang Feng, with the assistance of the 10,000 times cultivation return system, thoroughly understood the contents of the alchemy jade slip, and became a master figure. After Yang Feng carefully read all the alchemy jade slips on his body, with the assistance of the 10,000-fold cultivation effect return system, he directly became a theoretical alchemy master. Seeing this scene, Yang Feng did not hesitate at all, and immediately studied the formula of the bloodline pill, then took out a high-grade alchemy furnace from the Dongtian pearl, took out a portion of the medicinal materials of the bloodline pill, and started refining. Boom! With a crisp sound, the first bloodline pill refined by Yang Feng exploded. At this time, countless information about the failure of refining the blood pill appeared in Yang Feng's mind, allowing him to instantly grasp tens of thousands of ways to fail in refining. Afterwards, Yang Feng's expression remained the same. He took out a portion of the material of the bloodline pill from the Dongtian pearl, and continued to refine it. With the memory of tens of thousands of failures, Yang Feng easily avoided all possible reasons for failure this time, and successfully refined a low-level blood pill. At this time, countless information about the successful refining of blood pills appeared in Yang Feng's mind, allowing him to instantly master tens of thousands of methods for successfully refining blood pills, and became a master in refining blood spirit pills. Immediately afterwards, Without the slightest hesitation, Yang Feng immediately took out 100 parts of the blood pill material, put it into the high-grade treasure pill furnace, and started refining it. Soon, 100 high-quality blood pills were refined by Yang Feng, which made Yang Feng have a happy smile on his face. After that, Yang Feng frantically refined the blood pill like a hard-working bee.